Hello everyone and welcome. Now I am starting to paint the Tau Pathfinders. It has been a while since I painted any Tau, and it has been a while since I have done a miniature video on this channel. I don't remember if I explained that during the summer I will work a lot on the house and not have as much time for painting miniatures, but this is the case. Uh, I remember explaining that when I primed these, I ran out of black spray primer, so I decided to use what I had, and with that is the gray you see here on some miniatures. I plan to use the black spray primer as a base coat for the miniatures that have it on certain parts, like their pants. But for the ones that are gray, I have to paint all their pants and legs black as well using um, Abaddon Black. I will not be showing you how I paint each and every miniature. Instead, I will focus on each step of the process of painting them. I tried to paint a few of these in hard to reach places, see how my brush would reach it, and that is why I had to break a few of the pieces, and you can see them scattered about. Now, after painting the pants black, the next step is to give a base coat of Warboss Green, and since this is a layer paint, it will have to go in several layers just to create the base coat, the opacity that is needed. Here are a few more details, and as you can see, the process has been going on for some time, as most of the miniatures already have their base coat, and I'm applying a second layer on the few remaining ones that need it. I tried to cover a bit of information of the filming process and my work process of posting these videos when I have nothing to explain about the painting process. So here goes. Uh, I plan on changing a bit the format of my videos going forward, and why did it take so long for me to make another miniature video? Uh, Despite the fact that the new studio does allow for much greater flexibility when working, allowing me to easily start and finish painting miniatures. Uh, it does take a long time to edit one of these videos, especially since it was filmed, as you can tell, across multiple days. The camera angles will change because I can never put it in exactly the same position. I don't have a fixed camera point yet. I will be working on that soon enough. Um, but that is one of the reasons that you will see the camera jumping from one side to the other and change the angles when necessary. What am I saying about was I talking about saying new format? I plan to do much shorter videos, especially for batch painting going forward, because editing this and taking several days, if not almost 2 weeks, to paint and edit a single video is not very efficient. So that is what I plan on changing. Expect a few more shorter videos going forward, maybe even a few shorts if I ever figure out how to post such things on YouTube. And then when the whole batch is painted, I will compile them into a single long formatted video uh, that can be enjoyed by those of you who like my long form videos. As you saw for the past few minutes, I have been painting the base coat, the Warboss Green base coat for the weapons. Um, and we are almost done with all of them. Again, multiple layers because this layer paint is a bit transparent and needs needs two or three coats just to fully cover everything. Moving on to the additional accents, and for this I used Tau Light Ochre, going around all the gray part. If you have a keen eye, you will notice that in some shots you may see the Games Workshop store page for Pathfinders. I use it as a painting reference guide just to pick out the colors that I want to use with a direct color swap of the white with green and the gray with Taulight Ochre. Not fully one-to-one, not absolutely every piece was done in this manner, and there are some other color shifts. Let's go with that. This is already fine detail work from my perspective, and I'm sorry for that really fast switch. The tower railguns were the most fun to paint, not for these two specific colors, just when I get the fun details of the rails themselves. I think I did a great job, and I absolutely loved the way they came out. They are almost glowing, yet have something distinct, not necessarily a glow effect, because I was not going for that. I wanted something different. You'll see it when I get. I keep getting ahead of myself as usually. So let's just enjoy the process of getting there. Besides that, I need something to comment when I do get there. Right. Well, what can I say? Other eagle-eyed viewers may notice that I am also watching YouTube more along the lines of listening other YouTube, and as you can see, if you can tell by the small snippet of the screen of what channel it is, I also watch other YouTubers that paint miniatures and talk about Warhammer. Of course, doesn't everybody? Um, and even more eagle-eyed viewers may notice that I have an extra bit of equipment on my head. I don't know if you saw this in any other videos. Those are the special glasses that allow me to do fine detail work because my eyesight is incredibly poor when it comes to doing fine detailed work on miniatures, and they are very handy. I use like 4 times magnification, and this greatly helps. I don't use it for, base coating, but I have to be very careful around the edges here, and that is why I am using it. I try to keep it as natural as possible, but I cannot do that with just my glasses. Moving on to further small details, I am now painting those round energy thingies. I don't know what they are on the weapons, and I am using Runelord Brass. I do it on both sides with the finely tipped brushed, and it's absolutely clear in my water uh, before how those metal flakes mix in the water, and that is why everyone recommends that when switching paints, you clean out the water. You make brand new clean water instead of using the same water for non-metallic paints. Of course, I completely disregarded this advice and constantly fixed my mistakes by picking up non-metallic paints, washing the brush in the same water, and fixing my mistakes immediately on the model as soon as I make. I tried to fix most of my mistakes as soon as possible, even though you might not see it in this video. I edited out a lot because I think I got this video down from roughly 10 hours to about half an hour. So, yay to me, if not 25 minutes. I honestly don't know. Um, hold on, let me just. Oh, less than 25 minutes. So that is saying something. I did a lot of heavily editing this video, but I assure you, I only took out repetitive parts, and hopefully this video will do great. And if you liked it, please subscribe, uh, like, and share it with a friend. It really helps my channel grow, and I really would like to eventually reach 500 subscribers by the time YouTube allows users in my country to start monetizing at 500 subscribers. Hopefully. It's just a pipe dream. Who knows? Uh, Next, I did some more detailed work, but this time I used a lead belcher on a few of the vents on the guns and some other details on the Pathfinders themselves. Uh, you can see me pick up paint directly from with a brush from a brush. This is a technique that I have not seen many other use it, but I try not to pick up paint from the pots using a good brush with a fine tip from Citadel. So instead I have these cheap brushes that I take paint from the pot, place it on the wet palette and mix it, but that leaves a lot of paint on that brush, and instead of letting that paint go to waste, I will use my finely tipped brush and take paint straight from the cheap brush and apply it directly to the miniature. It is already thinned down as it is the paint that was used for mixing everything, and it works out absolutely fine. I am using a contrast paint called Gore Grunt of Fur, and I am using it to go all over the satchels and the pouches of the Pathfinders. This gives out a perfect leather-like effect, despite the fact it being called, fur. I can't wait to use this on the Space Wolves pelts, and hopefully it will make an even better job of this. But damn, the shading, the pooling, it just goes where it needs to, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm more than happy how these contrast paints work. I look forward to testing them out as I go along with multiple other miniatures and maybe even one more complex one. ones. For the lenses, again, I went with the same recipe that I did for the drones, with Temple Guard Blue as a base coat, followed by a shade of uh, Drankenhof uh, Drankenhof Nightshade, I think. It's a blue shade, and then a highlight of Baharroth Blue. I may have gotten the blues mixed up. I can never remember which is which. But the darker one is the base color, the brightest one is the highlight. Lightest one, you get the message. Um, for I may not have filmed the process, but I painted their leather uh, belts, not using Gorgrota fur, but rather Rhinox hide. Keep that in mind. And as a highlight for all the pouches and the belt, I used Bugman's Glow, because recently I saw a video with the painter saying uh, instead, especially when doing dark leather or even bright leather, when highlighting it, to use a flesh color, because when leather gets bent or scraped or damaged in any way, it actually reverts to a flesh-like color, and it looked absolutely amazing. The effect, you will see it on the final shots, but this is how I'm doing things from now on with all pouches and leathers, and those are the ones that I really liked and enjoyed um, highlighting, or rather than the entire miniature. I don't, as I mentioned, I don't like edge highlighting my miniatures. I think it makes them look cartoonish, and while I love how the miniatures are made by the Heavy Metals team, I am not a huge fan of how they look and painting like that. It seems a little too cel shaded for me. So that is why I am trying to make my own preferred style, which is a bit more realistic. Or at least that's how I perceive my painting so far. That it somehow appears that this can happen in reality. And while I completely understand and absolutely adore how great painters, miniature painters, can paint volumes and highlight volumes, create layers upon layers, I, in my experience, just having the good light source on the miniature um, creates those volumetric shadows. Again, we're working with 3D elements, and I get why painting them, but because it shows off your mastery and everything. But the volumes are there, and the paints do reflect light the way they should, at least in my small experience. But moving on to what I am doing right now, I am painting the skin, the little bit of skin that is visible on their feet, while taking care not to paint their toes, their hooves, because in theory they are descended from agrarian creatures, and I believe they had hooves for feet. And for that I use a bit of um, rust gray as a base coat, with a highlight only on the edges of Fenrisian gray. And with that, we are getting very close to the end, and I am doing the shading right now. of all the metallic elements and the rest of the lines. And for that, for any Runelord Brass that I used on the emblems and their weapons and the round tiny bits, I am using Agrax Earthshade, going over them and trying to get it to pool on the sides so that it leaves as much of the metallic possible metallic paint exposed so that it retains its um, shininess without me having to come back and do another layer of them. This process, like I mentioned, shades are magic in a box before, and they absolutely work great. Oh, I did not film the process of me painting Sergeant equivalent. I'm getting to their names, but I'm starting to, but I'm not gonna try and pronounce their names for these officers. I painted his pauldron and the letter text, the little textile material on his sword with corn red. What I am doing now is painting all of the lines on the weapons and of course on the down Pathfinders. I have for this I use Nuln oil instead of Agrax Earthshade for all of the green and Towlight Ochre parts, and I plan on getting a bit of Tamiya panel liner, but that is some time away. The final step, after I of course glue back all the arms and legs, is to do the bases, and I'm going to do incredibly simple bases just like I did with the Wrath of a Chardolon board game, and just put a bit of sand on the base of the miniatures. After that I cleaned the rim and painted black, and now it is time for the final shots, and I will let you enjoy them just as soon as I ask you once again for, if you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and share it with a friend. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers soon, hopefully 500 even sooner. I know, I know, I'm just running out of ideas, and of course I'm always unscripted. But enough of me stressing you out. Please check out the video and stay tuned for the next one. It's really interesting.